And if your mind, which is sharp as a razor, and your spirit, which is open as, and flies like a dove, if you have the two, you will truly discern the truth, but you need to sharpen both. Probably human beings are somewhere between 500 million to several billion years old. We're probably originated on an ancient star system long, long gone, or stars that have long gone supernova. So, well, I don't know. Listen, if there's let's put it this way. Our civilization started trying to clone human beings in 1927. That's the Nazis. They succeeded in doing some occasional clones in 1957 and were very efficient at cloning genetically engineered super soldiers in the Moscow Institute for Biological Research in 1982 with Russian and American scientists. These soldiers, their plan was to actually create super soldiers that would have the genes transplanted for the muscle M zone, so they'd have to accident myosin of the most powerful mammal known, which is a jackal. So they could run at 30 to 35 miles an hour and jump 20 to 30 feet, carry a 300-pound backpack, and literally rip someone's heart out with their hands. And super fast reflexes that are beyond the range of normal human capacities. They're planning on creating these super soldiers, so our people who are listening, who are special ops in Delta, should realize that they have an operational plan, and I've got all the documents. It's called NBIC, Nanotech, Bioinformation, and Cogno, to replace humanity with a super being, and to literally just keep us in the dark while we just die off. Well, I'm here to say they're liars, they're thieves, and they're going to go. And we need to start extending human lifespan, healing our children, stopping cancer, stopping heart disease, and we need to stop this idea of allowing them to think that they're going to control human reproduction and turn us into a obsolete species, because we're not. We're made in the image of the Most High God. We don't use a billionth of a capacity of our current being and our nature and our spirit. We don't use it at all. Whether we're healing or we're creating intention to create, gardens or worlds or healing our bodies, we don't use a billionth of our power. And I saw this. And because I've been gifted, there have been people that I have prayed over that have been miraculously healed. Like Mark Taylor, who was the first kid shot in Columbine. I came into the hospital 3 weeks after I saw him, and I put him into the Littleton Porter Hospital. And 3 days before, I told him, I said, you're going to call me in 3 days, and you're going to be in agony because the antibiotic I've given you will organize the abscess that they missed at the University Hospital. I told the radiologist exactly where to put the catheter because I'm a medical intuitive, and he did. The radiologist went on a CT scan, put the catheter in, and 3 weeks later he was walking around with a PCA pump with fentanyl, and he wasn't getting better. And they said, we're going to have to cut out 4 ribs, and we're going to pack your chest open in the ICU, and you have a 25 to 40% chance of dying in the intensive care unit. So he cried and cried. And I prayed with him. I said, God, you're going to have to come through now. And our God is God. That's just like Nebuchadnezzar had to say to Daniel. And I say to you today, like Daniel, who's been in the lion's den, in with these bastards, in with these reprobates, like the Attorney General's Office of Colorado, the Board of Medical Examiners, the military, the Air Force. All these people would threaten me when I wanted to take care of our troops based on the idea that they were exposed to dangerous vaccines and depleted uranium. I am not afraid of you. I'm coming for you. And I'm coming for you not to harm you, but to give you the truth, because you're going to die first. You are actually sealed with the seal of death, because the sealing of the Most High God, the sons and daughters of the Most High, is about to start very soon. And that sealing process, if you don't understand this, it is going to seal you with the death that's coming with the end of this age. It's coming very, very soon. Anybody familiar with this picture? First contact. And you just look at, what are the goals of the old world disorder? Well, a fully integrated consciousness of all individuals on earth, a hive mind, caste of genetically engineered, nanotech, and biologically enhanced transhumans. And they're already doing psychotraumas. And a lot of the media, including I call Hollywood, is actually trying to psychotrauma you because they have this all planned. Most of the people that are writing these scripts and so on are feeding it from the NSA and above government agencies, and many of them are channeling this from other entities that have malevolent intentions against humanity. So don't think channeling is all good. It's not. Indications that such a culture would be subjected to a higher alien society with evil intent toward the individual nature of man freedom of creative and deterministic thought, and promulgation of true electronic cage of mankind and consciousness. And they're doing it. And the biggest thing that I call the devil, or if you want to call it the devil-like societies, or these, quote, ETs, or I called IFEs, identified fiendish extraterrestrials, you should realize that they're not imaginary. They aren't. Sorry. The tiger that you don't believe is a tiger that can eat you. Because he'll still lick his chops after he chews you up and swallows. Is there evidence that the New World Order is alien, transdimensional, demonic? Of course it is. Every religion in history has known this, but somehow our society, being very Cartesian, doesn't know it. To their own detriment and to the laughing hoodwinking of the globalist morons. Even George Bush, just because he's a moron, he happens to be of the bloodline, so he knows a lot of these things, and he's kind of laughing at us, even though he's an idiot. Project Omega, conceived by the Nazis, and George Bush Sr., by the way, isn't an idiot, neither is his son, Jeb. They conceived these things because Project Omega literally is doing it, and they've advanced treaties that have done unbelievable things. Yes, do we have off-world bases? Of course we do. We've had a parallel space program since 1963. We have been doing parallel launches from Vandenberg Air Force Base here in California and on the East Coast. They do parallel launches and monitors it from Houston. And 80% of all the space projects have been for military purposes, including low Earth orbit satellites, star-based weapons, and, of course, they have an entire city on the moon, which they always blot out, that's doing mining for helium-3, which is used for nuclear fusion, for interstellar travel, and for advanced energy technologies. And, of course, these corporations all control the helium-3 because there are 100,000 times more helium-3 on the moon than there is on Earth, because it has a different origin than the planet Earth. Aurora Space Engineers contact on USS Luftwaffe. The Luftwaffe hasn't been gone. Believe it or not, they didn't surrender. The SS did not surrender with the secret treaty of Fort Hunt. And the rat line brought by the senior Jesuit officers and the cardinals and the Pope, they brought them all over here. In fact, they're under the control of them. The Jesuit general. It really is true. Even the largest telescopes in the southern hemisphere that are monitoring the entry of Nibiru are totally under the control of the Vatican. We have a Mars colony, has since 1982, and plans for terraforming 5 different planets and moons in our solar system have already been operationally started. Okay? This is a fact. I was flying back 3 years ago from New York City, and I was sitting beside a senior Sony executive in New York, up in first class, and I said, well, what's new with Sony? And he said, well, we got this new supercomputer. It's a laptop. And I said, oh, that's cool. I said, I'll bet it uses micro laser optic logic. He said, how did you know that? That's classified. I said, my buddy that worked at Signal Saturn Systems, was a senior NSA, and a guy that used to knock off sleepers after World War II, had one on his desk in 1962. And it wasn't human technology. Most of the technologies that you think that we have did not originate in the human mind. These are technologies that have been transferred and trickled. They have technologies that are so far beyond the basis of the human mind and imagination, you can't even imagine it. So don't think channeling's all good. It's not. So the New World Order is alien, transdimensional, demonic? Of course it is.